Welcome to the My House Podcast, a show about the past, present, and future goings-on at the My House Youth Drop-In Center in Wasilla, Alaska, with your host, Michelle Overstreet. Welcome to episode 44 of the My House Podcast. I'm Isaac Smolden, and today we are joined by Erin from KHitz 107.1.
Good morning.
Good morning. Erin, you're here right after your morning show is over, so you're pulling double duty today.
That's fine. I just run my mouth for a living, so it's all good.
So you're used to it.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us here today. Over the last couple of months, we've been so fortunate to have a brand new project with KHitz, the MY House Media Mashup, every Saturday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. And it's just one of the many things that you do for the Mat-Su community. So, in fact, you were just talking about it on the show today, I think. Your folks from Kids Cupboard that have an event coming up were saying how much KHitz does for the Mat-Su. So I guess let's start with, how did you end up owning a radio station in the first place?
Well, that's a long, short story. Aaron and I, my other half, Erin-she. I'm Erin-she.
Your husband is also named Aaron.
Yes.
For clarification.
We're the Aarons.
Which doesn't get confusing at all.
Right. COVID was taking place, and we were both kind of in between jobs and trying to figure out what we wanted to do with life. I was freshly clean and sober and taking life into a whole new direction. And the opportunity came up to buy this radio station that was about to go off air. And we looked at each other and we're like, well, what do we got to lose at this point right now? You know, our backup plan was being homeless in Hawaii. We literally just saved airline miles so we could go back to Hawaii if this didn't work.
So there was no backup plan.
There was no backup plan. Right, okay. No, we put our house in forbearance. We gave up our cars that we had payments on. We drove beaters with heaters, and we just jumped in full force and got KHitz. We rebranded. We decided, you know, where does radio come from? What was the purpose of radio? And radio was supposed to be a community resource. That's why we have FCC licensing. It is supposed to be of a benefit to the community. And what better way to benefit our community than to be a platform for all the different nonprofits, for all the community events, to be able to come on and talk about what they're doing.
Yeah, and how long ago was this?
This was 3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago, so not even that long ago.
Right.
Well, I know that you are a proud member of our Mat-Su recovery community, and I imagine that has a lot to do with the programming that you put on there. I mean, for National Recovery Month and just in general, you guys are really doing a fantastic job about getting the word out about recovery and what it looks like. Just to derail us for a second, what does recovery look like to you? What's it about? What makes this community so successful at, really championing?
Is that a word?
Championing the cause of recovery in this state, because to me, the Mat-Su has the most vibrant, thriving recovery community in the state, if not the nation. I think we do recovery so well here.
Well, and I think it's the ability to work together. You don't see a lot of recovery people battling each other. If you're in recovery, if you're in that world, you know that nobody's recovery looks the same. Everybody's journey is different. And the resources out there recognize that. And organizations like Set Free and True North, you know, their program might not work for you, but the next door neighbors might. And they're willing to talk with each other and be like, hey, you know, well, this didn't work. Let's go talk to this person and let's get you the help with no judgment and just the want to change lives.
What is your favorite part about, I mean, you guys are very well established. I've heard from a ton of people that listen to KHitz 107.1, Your Valley, Your Music.
Your station.
There's three of them, right? That especially since we started doing the media mashup every 12 to 4 Saturday. Let me say that again directly into the microphone. The My House Media Mashup, 12 to 4 Saturdays. what has been the most fun, the most exciting part about having this radio station in the community?
It's when it comes to my ego, of course, being recognized and not just recognized, oh, like you're a celebrity, but hey, I heard about this organization because of you. Mm-hmm. Hey, like this morning, getting text messages. How can we give back to Kids Cupboard? Yeah. How can I be a part of the My House Media Mashup? How can I be a part of helping the community? That to me, being recognized as a cog or a connector to all the different nonprofits and community events, that to me is the most meaningful thing to have gotten out of this.
So you didn't say the fishing trips that you get from AdSpace and stuff like that? Okay, good answer. Good answer. Because that would be my favorite thing.
I didn't even think of those. I didn't even think of that.
You get to do a lot of cool things having a radio station. From what I hear about when I text you and say, hey, this is on there. Like, cool, I'm here doing this cool thing. I'm on a helicopter flying over some glacier. Or I'm on this fishing charter. And I'm like, man, we should be selling more radio space on the podcast network or something. We could be doing all sorts of fun stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the project that we collaborate on, because it has quickly become one of my favorite parts of the week is getting to work on the media mashup. You approached us, I think, before Christmas time last year and said, hey, I have this radio block and we want to do something with My House. Where did this idea come from on your end? Because I'll be fully honest, this was not even close to being anywhere on my radar ever doing something like this.
Well, a little bit of my backstory to throw in here. I was a homeless teenager here in Wasilla in the 90s. I went to Burchell High School. Dave Holmquist was our principal at the time. Mm-hmm. Michelle was actually a counselor there.
Right.
And I was in a dark spot back then. And there wasn't anything like My House available. And it was because of those teachers and counselors and our principal that my life was saved. Mm-hmm. And because of them, I went to an out-of-state treatment center and moved away from Alaska. And then when I came back, I was like, well, what is available now? How can I help kids that were in my situation? And I was like, oh, well, Michelle formed My House.
Right.
And when I came here, what was I here for? We were talking about...
Well, it was before you were dressed up as the Grinch. Right. Or am I not allowed? Right. Is that like your secret identity?
No, that's fine.
Okay,
that's
so
fine.
I can say that
if you need a Grinch, hit me up. I do parties. I do whatever. I'll be going to Wassy here. They're doing Christmas in July here. Oh. And so I'll be the Grinch for
all year
Wassy.
Round, yeah.
Yes. We were here for the building project.
Yes.
And Michelle was you were actually talking about, I think, different things that you guys were doing here. And I was like, oh my gosh, they have a production team. Mm-hmm. And we could do this together and we can give back in a different kind of way. Music is an international language. Mm-hmm. Like you don't have to know the words to a song to feel a song. Yeah. And so by letting this generation, letting the clients have their pick of music that expresses them, it gives them a voice. And being able to pick their songs on the radio, that was a thing that I loved as a teenager, being able to hear my song on the radio, making requests and stuff. So being able to give that to the next generation and let them know that they're being heard, I think was very important. And then also the education aspect. I want to grow this program with you. I know summertime is hard, but teaching these kids marketing skills, mm-hmm. getting out in the community and saying, hey, you can advertise with KHitz while giving back to My House, right. And teaching these kids sales. That's important. That's a good skill to have. Teaching them the production, teaching them how to interact with different businesses and whatnot. And just making it one big chunk of give back.
Right. Well, and that's something we should hit on for sure, is that not only did you donate the airtime, but all that ad space has been donated to us as well. And so if you want to advertise on the My House Media Mashup, you can email me, Isaac at myhousematsu.org, call 907-373-4357 and help amplify client voice, get some radio ads out in the air, especially if you're already thinking about or doing radio ads.
Right.
I think we have a pretty competitive price point that we're selling ads at, and from what I've heard, and it also is. Because it's not a donation, right?
I think you're getting an incentive.
Right. Anytime we're doing something like this that is a business with the cafe or the boutique, we really want to amplify, like, it's our slogan, right? It's a hand up, not a handout. Like, hey, we're not just asking you to give us money. We're offering a service, same as we do with, or same as what we ask our clients to do when they're working in a business, is we're offering a service. And in exchange for that, you're supporting our job training efforts here in the recording studio. You're supporting our organization as a whole, because that funding is what helps keep us sustainable. So it's more than just the ad time. I mean, we really can't thank you enough for this whole program, because it's not only a really cool opportunity to talk about client voice, but it's also an important sustainability piece for us. But on that subject of client voice, I think I was worried a little bit early on as to, are any of our clients really gonna, want to be involved in this? Like, am I gonna be having to go around and like begging people for songs? And I was like, well, we can have the staff give a couple, because like what if we don't have enough clients that want to give a song? And we have the polar opposite problem of I will go out at supper club and I'll be like, hey, we're getting new songs for the radio this week. Does anyone have a song that they want to add on there? And I have to stop everyone about 30 seconds in, because I'm like, okay, that's too many. That's too many.
Write it down.
We'll have lists of like 10 to 15 songs, and I'm like, we were only supposed to fill 5 new ones into the slot this week, but we will find a way to get everyone in there now. So I guess I'm sorry, because we break all the radio rules of we are so all over the place with all this music.
That's what's great about KHitz too. We don't really have a platform.
Right.
We just play, we built the radio station soundtrack on the soundtrack of my life. So, one minute you're listening to The Doors, and then the next minute I've got a country song in there. So
I mean, we have had anywhere from there's a lot of Frank Sinatra this week.
There is
to the Police, ABBA, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Offspring,
Lady Gaga,
Slayer. What has been the most out of pocket? Because sometimes you text me and you're like, oh, sweet, I already had a bunch of this music in our library. Like, perfect. We don't have to license it again. What has been the song that you have been the most surprised to see come across computer?
The Frank Sinatra. I was like, all right, well, I can pull up My Way. That's cool, We can do that. I love Frank Sinatra.
For me, the Eurovision song. Did you listen to that when you pulled it?
Yes.
We had a client at supper club, and I'm going through and I'm getting this is because I work with our youth board. I work with, I'm on our board of directors as a youth representative. And so how we can better amplify client voice is always something that, I'm trying to look for new ways of doing. And this project has turned into such a cool way of doing that, and a really unique way of experiencing where our clients are at, what is, you don't think about how important music is to your life, but you just said it, like these songs that you started with were the soundtrack to your life. Like,
right.
You listen to a song and there is something about our brains that connects that back to a place or a time period in our lives. And I'm sitting at supper club and I have a client that says, I want you to play Europapa, Joost.
Joost Klein.
Just?
Yes.
It is a dude from the Netherlands.
Yes.
And it was on, I don't know how many people know about Eurovision, but it's this big song and dance competition where all the countries pick, it's like the Olympics of live performances, and every country picks one person to perform one song. It's like their American
Idol.
Yeah, but crazier.
Yes.
I think
European American Idol.
I think that's kind of a diss to Eurovision because it's huge. You watch the people in the crowd and they've got flags and it's it's like a sporting event. It's
like
like
the
a football
Olympics
game
for
but
entertainment,
but live music. And this song is totally in Dutch, and the lyrics, because we do check the lyrics. We have some barriers about. Okay, if this promotes behavior that your case manager would be giving you a write-up for,
then
we're not going to put it on the radio, right? But it was fine. It was just in Dutch, and it got on there. So that, but again, it's about what do our clients want to hear on the radio that week, and it's a great platform to us to talk about what we're doing. Some of the national campaigns, the One Pill Can Kill ads that go out there. It's just a really unique project, and we're so lucky to have it thanks to you and what you do. So I guess really all that is 15 to 20 minutes just to tell you thank you, which I could have done in a text message, especially since you already talked all morning today. But as we wrap up, what have you seen, and we're still very early on, but what have you seen out of this radio block that you want to see going forward, and what kind of it was that moment where you got to see kind of your initial vision in what we're putting out on the radio every Saturday?
Again, it's giving this generation a voice, letting them have a say, because I think a lot of discouragement comes from being silenced. And like I said, music is the international language. And so by giving these kiddos, I shouldn't even say kiddos, these young adults, the opportunity to express themselves on an open platform, that's important. Letting them know that they're cared about. Yeah. Because, where a lot of the clients are coming from, they may not have had the care that you and I have had, or, and I just want them to know that, hey, I'm listening. I'm here. I've been in their shoes. I've been there, and it's important that they know that they're not alone. That there's people that truly care about their life, about where they're going, about who they are. And I'm sorry. I just wanted a way to give back, and this is my treasure that I have that I can give.
Well, again, we appreciate it so much, Erin. The My House Media Mashup on KHitz 107.1, Saturdays, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's me when we record this, our bits. Every time I have to turn on that voice. Erin, thank you. I want to thank Erin for being here today. That is all the time we have today. The My House podcast is recorded at the My House recording studio in Wasilla, Alaska. I've been Isaac Smolden. Until next time.